It's my pleasure to introduce to you, if you haven't already seen this, the Resilient Coast Canada platform. It's a little bit different from the other activities because we started on this in cycle 1. And it took us a while to figure out exactly how to do this, but now we're at a good point, I think, where I can actually, where we do have a very good idea. And that is basically we're developing an online platform, an information tool, that would be available primarily to serve communities, so planners in municipalities, towns, regional districts, and so forth, who are interested in issues of hazards and coastal hazards in particular, and what can be done about it. And the point of the platform is to, first of all, give them a way to identify what other communities are similar to them in terms of their vulnerability profiles. And what you see here is, for example, the map here is on a scale that's color-coded to indicate degree of similarity. So in this case, I've chosen this is my reference community in the black there. And this is along our hazard vulnerability similarity index score, how similar all of the other communities are. In this case, it's in terms of the built environment. So we have a series of indicators underlying this index. And we've also got for natural environment, social environment, economic, and overall. But the point here, as you can see, is to figure out what other communities are similar to my own community in order to share information that's relevant to both of our communities. So this information could be about what am I doing to deal, me as a community, what am I doing to deal with the hazards that I face, and also sharing that to other places, but also learning from other places as to what they're doing that may be things that I'm considering or would want to consider. They could be, part of this is to figure out what is already being done, but also lessons learned. So it may be that I'm considering, for example, increasing my flood construction levels for coastal construction, but what's been the experience of this around the country? And there may be other communities that have done this who would have experience. It may be positive, it may be negative, but learning about that, sharing that kind of information would be very useful, we think, to communities. And by the way, I say we think, but this is not just us thinking. This is based on a lot of iterative feedback from talking with communities in Harvard and BC over the last few years through workshops and interviews and beta testing the platform and so forth. So I'm not going to give you a live demo because my student, as I mentioned, in the afternoon will be doing that, and she'll be taking you through all of the steps. But I do want to point out a few things. So this is sort of the first part of the platform, but after you figure out what other communities may be of interest to you, then there's the second part, which is the profile page of each of the communities. And on the profile page, there's information about, first of all, very important, who to contact. Who is the key contact who's dealing with hazards and adaptation in that community. And second of all, what hazards they face, the indicators, all the data that's online here. But third, and perhaps of greatest interest, maybe second to the contact, but of great interest, is what is it that they're actually doing, and links to the documentation of those actions. In particular, through the visual community plans, as we've been systematically, the students have been systematically going through and gathering the key action items each community is undertaking. So online links to that information. That's what we have now. We launched the platform last August through 3 webinars and also at a workshop and so forth, a lot of interaction. A lot of good feedback so far. We are tracking the usage of the platform. We want to know if this is really useful. It is. We think it should be. But is it? And what parts of it are really useful? That's something that we're monitoring, hoping to revise and improve as we go forward. Okay, so that's what exists now. You're welcome to take a look at it. The URL is there. And it does say, log in. But all you have to do is create a login and you can get in. So it's not the only reason we have a login is so that we know who you are and we can track your usage. It's really for that. In particular, we're not so much interested in your usage, that's fine, but on the communities and how they're using it. So that's where we are now, and what I wanted to mention was what our plans are going forward, because this is really it's exciting for us, and I hope that will work out. 2 things. Number one is, as you can see, we have the 50 largest communities in the Sailor Sea region of British Columbia right now in our database. That's great. It goes from communities that are 600,000 and above down to a population of 4,000. Covers a lot of places, but not everywhere. So we are expanding geographically in terms of the set of communities. For example, one of our students was working with the Musqueam First Nations for our master's project, and we will be including them as the 51st community. Still in our region. Potentially, we may be expanding to the other part of the Salish Sea in Washington State. We do have some data on that. We are definitely going to be expanding east. So Nova Scotia is our next geographic area. We have some data there, we're working on that. And in phase 2, you will see that we'll expand the platform to West Coast and East Coast. Arctic, I'm not sure. We'll see. I know there's a lot of neophyte research going on there. It'd be great to include some communities, but how to exactly do that is something that would need to be worked out. Let's see. So expanding geographically is one main area of expansion. The other main improvement that we're very excited about is developing, as part of this, like another page of this, a resource library for coastal communities. So coastal has a resource library. So again, you'll see a demonstration of our mock-up of that in the session this afternoon. But the basic idea is, once communities are using this platform, they can see what other communities are doing. They're also interested in learning about tools that exist and the potential for those tools, and what are good practices, what are good examples of them being implemented, what are some issues that are done, what's some of the literature around that, what are some of the regulations and policies and governance issues and so forth related to those tools. For example, one example that we have prepared already is on coastal buyouts, so buying out coastal properties that are at risk. What are practices, policies, examples of that in practice already, and how effective are they? So that's the resource library, and I think that's an area, as you'll hear this afternoon if you have a chance to attend, that's an area where we think that a lot of neophyte research could feed in. So, for example, if there are activities, if there's a particular project that's working on a tool, like a storm surge forecasting tool or something, they can provide information about what is the state of storm surge forecasting in a way that communities could look at quickly and digest easily and learn more about and potentially use. So that's our ambition for the platform.